Well, welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm here for the next hour. Didn't think I was going to be. We had a major problem around lunchtime. Uh, our computer program went down. We use Salesforce. The whole firm is run on Salesforce, and Salesforce stopped working. And they're such, well, I won't call them idiots, but they have been sending. So we pay our quarterly bill, which is a big fat bill every quarter, and then if you add someone during the quarter to the account, then they send you these little invoices, and they've been sending them to the wrong email address, so we haven't been getting them. So then they sent me a notice today at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock saying, if you don't pay this bill within 10 days, we're going to turn you off. And then they turned us off. So then I was dealing with that all through the time that we were supposed to have our other show. It took us about an hour and 45 minutes to get it back. All right. So, like I said, I will be here for the next hour, trying to answer as many immigration law related questions as I can on a Friday afternoon, a sleepy Friday afternoon. A lot of the office is out today. Adele is out doing something with her kids. Amani's in New York. Tim's on vacation. Tom's in Texas. Lots going on. How is everybody? Oh, I got all the IT guys telling me how much Salesforce sucks. That's so fun. All right, so I'm going to talk to Art, Vincent, Sal, Cali, quick question, and then Goulserin if Goulserin turns their camera off. So let's start with Art. Hello, Art.
Hey Jim, how you doing?
Great, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I have just a quick question. What concerns, if anything, should we have traveling outside the United States? Because I have a trip from Mexico planned in July. I'm a U.S. citizen. Is there anything we should be worried about coming back into the U.S.?
A U.S. citizen? No.
Okay, so just green. How about a green card holder that just recently got his green card about a year ago?
We're telling green card holders not to leave the United States until the end of the year and we figure out what's going on.
Okay. That was it, Jim. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Art. Have a good day. Let's go to Vincent. Hello, Vincent.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, I got a question, right?
Go for it.
If because I couldn't find it on any videos, but my question is to show support. I guess like the financially supporting
Yeah.
my spouse. I don't. The way I send money because she's overseas is through an app. Will those screenshots work as like proof?
So you're talking about general evidence that you and she are married as opposed to any kind of your financial obligations as the sponsor of a immigrant visa for your wife, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, screenshots are fine. Whatever you can upload to an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, I think that's fine as long as you explain what it is. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what other people think. I don't know how compelling that is, but it certainly doesn't hurt. If the U.S. citizen is sending money overseas to help take care of the foreign national, I think that's fine. I don't know that it's the most compelling evidence, but that's fine. And screenshots is fine.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep, we're just flying through them. Jim, I've been waiting a week for a response from the team. I've been speaking with Romel and was told I received some information on Monday. Well, go ahead and send another email to info at and say, hey, Jose, can you check with Romel for me? Sorry that we haven't gotten back to you faster. Sal is here. Hello.
Hey Jim, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's Friday. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, and thank you for jumping on online after the technical issues. We appreciate that.
No problem.
So Jim, I remember in one of the shows you mentioned that you guys planning to reach 1,000 citizens, helping people to reach 1,000 citizens this year, I think. And you
30,
mentioned,
yeah, 10,000 people by the end of 2030. That's right.
okay. And I mentioned you said like if anyone been watching the show and they are becoming a citizen, let you know. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to let you know that I had my interview on the end of February for my naturalization in San Luis. I got approved. I was placed for oath ceremony. So that's the good news. However, as you know, we are in the South Midwest. We we wait for a long time for the oath ceremony.
Yeah.
So yeah, since then I moved to Chicago on March 10th, and I updated my address online. The status changed to oath ceremony canceled. So now I live in Chicago. It's been a month since I have not heard back from them, so I was wondering what you think is like, should I be concerned, or is like that's just a normal wait time?
No, so that's tricky. So the problem is you're now asking the Chicago field office to naturalize you, even though they haven't interviewed you. So if you had asked me, I would have told you don't move if you're that close to being naturalized. Um, but I think that your case might get paused for a good long while now because they're going to have a hard time figuring out what you want them to do. You've confused them by moving right before your oath ceremony.
Okay.
So I think I would start with, hey, um, calling USCIS, making sure they understand everything that happened and sort of the chronology. In fact, I would write out the chronology and then call them and tell them this is the deal. And then you just got to start bugging them and try to get them to understand that you're not in St. Louis anymore and you need an oath ceremony in Chicago.
Okay. I tried to call. I I wasn't able to get like a live agent, but I did chat with them online. They said, sorry. So what they said is, Chicago has my case now. It's eligible for the oath ceremony, but it's not in the queue right now. It has
Yeah.
not been placed in the queue as of now.
How long ago was your interview?
It was February 27th of this year.
So I would say let's give them 120 days to see if they can figure it out because actually that's what they get under the law. If not by then, and if you make a very good effort to try to get them to take it in Chicago, and they won't do it, and 120 days go by, call me back. I have some contacts up there. I could maybe put in a good word for you and try to get it finished up.
Okay, 120 days since the interview date.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you. Thank you so much,
All
Jim.
right.
Hopefully
See
I
you,
get
buddy.
it before then. If not, then I will reach back to you again.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Thank
All right, all right. That was Sal. Let's see. How's everybody doing? I can post the link again. Here's the link. There it is. Cali with a quick question. Hello.
Hi, Jen. How are you doing today?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
It's Friday. I can't complain.
So what's up?
Um, okay, so here's my question. I have a 1-300 approved in 2023. I'm already cleared for the natural visa center, and right now my 601A waiver is we submitted in July of 2023. I did my biometrics in August of 2023, and it was submitted. So now we're just on hold and waiting. I came without inspection. Um, do I have to apply? Do I have to register for the register thing? Because I already did my biometrics.
Boy, I don't know. Is it me, everyone, or is it the other people's connections that are so bad? I don't know. It might be me and the internet here. Um, all right. So
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So let's take a look at their website.
Okay.
I'm going to pull it up. How to determine if you're already registered. Anyone who's been issued one of the documents below under 8 CFR 2641B has already registered. And anyone who submitted one under 2641A and provided fingerprints has also complied. So it's people with a green card, people paroled into the United States. So you entered without inspection. You weren't paroled, right?
Correct.
Aliens admitted as non-immigrants who got an I-94, so that's not you. An alien present in the U.S. who were issued immigrant or non-immigrant visas before their last date of arrival. Aliens whom DHS has placed into removal proceedings. You're not in removal, right?
No.
You don't have a work card, right?
No.
You've not applied for a green card filing form 485, right?
No.
And you don't have a border crossing card.
No.
Okay. And so that's people who are registered. This is who's not registered. Aliens present in the United States without inspection and admission or inspection and parole who've not otherwise registered, i.e. aliens who came across the border illegally. Canadian visitors who entered at a port of entry and were not issued evidence of registration, and aliens who submitted an application for deferred action or TPS. So that's not you either.
No.
So if you fall under the category of who is not registered, then you must register. This includes all aliens 14 years of age or older who are not registered and fingerprinted when applying for a visa to enter the United States and who remain in the United States for 30 days or longer, the parents or legal guardians of anyone under the age of 14, anyone, whether previously registered or not, who turns 14. So it seems that under this definition, that it seems to suggest that you're required to register.
Okay. And I know it's new and I know it's just started. Do you think that they'll link both the registration to the case that I already have pending? Or do you think that they're dumb and just, you know, sees me
Yeah.
as a person that has not done anything of that?
Well, I haven't seen the portal for registry. I don't know if they even ask you if you have something pending. I could see them that they probably don't.
Okay.
So I think the chances of them connecting it to the fact that you have an application on file already is maybe
Slim.
20%.
Got it. Okay. Then I guess I will go figure out how to register.
Thanks for the call.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yep, you too. All right, all right. Goulserin's here. Hello.
Okay.
How are you doing?
Hi. Can
Hi,
you
go ahead.
can
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
Jim, I'm calling from Istanbul, Turkey.
Hello.
Yeah. You hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I lived in the USA for 16 years and my husband was a US citizen, and after we came back to Turkey, we got divorced, and now I'm 67 years old. I applied Federal Bureau Office for my social security from the benefits, and they said, okay, you allowed, they award me in February, no, May 24, 2024.
Okay.
But they sent me a wrong address, the mail here. And when I went to USA to see my son, I asked them what happened. They said, you're suspended. I said, why? They said, you had to be in the USA every 6 months for one consecutive month. Okay, then I stayed there one full month. Then I went back to Turkey. They told me you were gonna receive your check in 3 weeks. It's like 6 months passed by, and I still didn't receive a check. They sent me a second letter saying that I am not a citizen and you've been out of the USA more than 6 months. I went there 2 times, but they didn't see my coming to USA. And I sent them an appeal letter. I don't know what to do.
So you have a green card?
I had a green card, but it's been a long time, but we were living with my husband in Turkey after we got divorced. I couldn't go back. So it's expired, but they saw my old expired green card. I sent the Federal Bureau Athens. They send it, they saw it, they send it back to me. Now the second letter, they say I'm not a citizen. Do I have to be a citizen? That's what I want to know.
I
Or
don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
oh,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just don't know. I think you do have to be a citizen, but I don't know. Don't hold me to that.
okay. Okay, then I'm gonna wait
What I
for my.
understand is if you don't have a green card and you're not a citizen, then you're going to probably not get those benefits, is what I think.
But I know some people, they were living in Turkey and they're getting their husband's benefits. They send them a letters every 2 years that if they're still alive or not,
Yeah.
and they're not a immigration green card. They don't have their green card passed by.
I believe you. I just don't know anything about this. This isn't something that we help with.
Okay. When I will go to USA maybe in a couple of months, and who should I talk to about this case?
I guess you go to whatever office it is that's paying the benefit, Social Security or whoever it is.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, good luck. Sorry I couldn't be more help. Oh, I'm just getting text from Nora. Apparently I was supposed to pick her up from school at 4, but I started the show instead. She's probably going to be mad. But she's probably trying to find a ride instead. I should have gone home and picked her up and then done the show from there. But uh-oh. All right, I'm going to go to Foysel and then I-45 question and then Andrew. But Andrew has his camera on, so I can't talk to him then. Let me take a couple questions from TikTok. Could an undocumented person fly from USA to Switzerland with Pegasus receipt? Maybe, but they're not going to be able to come back to the United States. Hi, Jim. At 45, adjustment of status interview as U.S.-born petitioner, is my birth certificate needed or is passport okay? If you have your birth certificate, bring it. It'd be better to have that. Solon, my fiance is a permanent resident. Can we get married in the USA if I'm visiting? Yes, you can get married, but you probably might not be able to stay and adjust here. You might have to consular process, and you always have to be careful about getting married too soon. AJ says Uber it. Green card through us. I'm surprised I'm not getting lots of angry texts or even the phone ringing. Green card through asylum, 2023, also married to U.S. citizen since 2021, 2 kids. Together, can we do N400, 3 or 5 years? So that's a great question, Sid. So 2 things have to be true. You have to be a green card holder for 3 years, and you have to be married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years. So it looks like you have the U.S. citizen married for 3 years part, but you've only had your green card since 2023. So it'll probably be 2026 when you can apply, which might, if you're that close, I would probably just apply on the 5-year rule. It's easier. AEM says, is it safe to travel internationally on a conditional green card? No. I'm telling everybody not to leave the United States until they actually become a citizen. All right. Still no angry text. I'm surprised. Let's go to Foysel. Hello.
Hello, Jim.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah, so I got an RFE for my medical report I-693 this week.
That's
And
rare and weird. That hardly ever happens.
actually, I sent an I-693 based on their courtesy email in 2023. But because of delayed processing, my I-693 has been expired under their review process. So I am doing this again. So my question is, this time they sent an RFE and they put that RFE notice in my online account as well as they are emailing it to me. I'm not sure when I will get the email copy, but when I read the online copy, I see that they wanted me to put a copy of, not copy, the original RFE mail on the top of the medical report. So fortunately, I could complete the medical this week, and I'm thinking of sending it as soon as possible with the copy of the RFE. So if I use the online copy instead of their mailed copy, would that work, or I have to actually send me the mailed copy? Because I don't see any difference in the barcode or any other context, but you know it better, I think.
How long ago did they send you how long ago did the electronic version show up online?
Like 3 days ago.
Yeah, brother, I would just wait a day or two for the actual one. Just wait a day or two. It's okay.
Okay, so I definitely should use the actual one, right?
Yeah, I would say if 2 weeks go by and you don't have the actual one, then use the digital copy. Print it out and attach it. Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. No problem. Okay, that was my only question. Yeah, thanks for answering my question today.
Have a great day, brother. I-45 question. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, Jim. Thanks for taking my call. Can you
Of
hear me?
course. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So my I-485 is pending right now, and I'm married to green card holder, and I got a job in a different state, and I'm planning to move over there, but my wife cannot join me. Join. She cannot move with me as of now, and is it okay if she moves later on after like 4 or 5 months?
So I have some questions. What was your status before you applied for your green card based on your marriage to a green card holder?
Tourist.
And were you out of status or were you in status?
In status. In status.
So you came on a visit visa and you married a green card holder.
Yep.
How long after you entered did you marry the green card holder?
3 months.
And did you know this person before you came to the United States?
Yeah. We had a relation for 5 years.
When you came on the visit visa, what was the stated purpose of your travel to the United States when you filed your DS 160?
It's just a visit, visiting friends and family.
So you told them you're visiting friends and family, right?
Mm-hmm.
What country are you from?
India.
When you came through customs,
Mm-hmm.
you came through customs and they asked you, "What are you doing here?" What did you say?
I said I'm visiting the country for a couple of days.
For a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So on the night that you arrived in the United States, what city did you go to?
I went to Pennsylvania.
And is that where the woman who's now your wife lives?
Yep.
Did you stay in her house that night?
No, I stayed at my friend's house.
How
Later
long,
on, I moved with her.
how long did you stay with your friend before you started staying with her?
Around like 1.5 months or something.
Okay, so that's good. So you didn't just move in and start shacking right away.
No.
Okay, good. That's good. Um, okay. So you said that she can't come live with you now with your new job, right?
Yeah, actually, she's studying right now, so she needs some time to finish her semester, the current semester, and from next semester, she can move with me on the other state. So,
Uh,
I mean, the gap is justifiable. So, even if when the interview comes up, can I explain that uh, because of this reason, she won't be able to join me right away?
yeah. So how long have you lived together, and how long will you be apart?
We've been living together for almost a year now, and I'm moving next month, and she'll join me around in September.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I would keep track of all in the time that you're apart from each other. You need
Mm-hmm.
to make sure you keep track of all the times you go visit each other. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And two, you got to make sure that you update your address with USCIS.
Yeah, so I have to update the address right away, right?
Yeah, within 10 days. How did she get her green card?
Through family petition, her mother's father.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long till she can become a citizen?
She can apply next year.
Next year. So by next year, when she's a citizen, you guys will be back living together.
Yeah, by the time, of course, we'll be together in the September itself, September or
Perfect.
October.
Perfect. Okay. And how far away are you going to be from her?
Uh, right now we are in Massachusetts, and I'm moving to Tennessee.
Okay. And I assume that the job that you're taking in Tennessee is not a job that you could do in Massachusetts.
I can do, but they don't have the opening over there. I'm in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Okay. Okay, I'm okay with this as long as you document it and keep track and update your address, because the thing is, you're not going to have your green card interview until she's a citizen. So you'll be living together for probably a year by then.
Mm-hmm.
She can apply next year. Let's say she gets it September of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have been back living together for a year, and she'll have moved to be with you. So that's all good evidence.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. That by the time we get the interview, because I just applied in October, so I'm not gonna getting interview anytime soon, right?
Yeah.
October 2024. So that's what I was wondering, that even if by the time of the interview we'll have plenty of time together living in the different state, but
Yeah,
just
the big,
because
the
we
big thing
live.
is we want to make sure we update our address because we don't want them to think your address is still in Massachusetts and then they come visit Massachusetts and all your shit's in Tennessee. You know what I mean? We want
Yeah,
to be one about it.
yeah, I got it. I got it. All right. Thank you.
All right, good. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Andrew. Hello.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure,
Uh,
man.
First, some thanks and praise to you guys. Used your services for a I-130 delay lawsuit last year.
Nice.
Within a month of signing the contract, we had an approved petition. So thank you for that help.
Stuck at USCIS or stuck at the embassy?
USCIS.
Yeah, those lawsuits for those cases when they know you still have to go to the National Visa Center, those lawsuits work really well. How's the State Department treating you?
Well, so that's where we're at right now. My wife had her interview in early February. Um, Unfortunately, neglected to give her a certified copy of the dissolution of my first marriage, so she got a 221G.
Yeah,
Um, I sent it over to them right away. They gave it back to us saying, "Hey, yep, we've reviewed it. It's good. So now you're just in administrative processing." After 60 days passed after her interview, so I reached back out to the embassy, and they apologized for taking so long. Said it's taking much longer than they had anticipated for her to get her visa. But they just said it's in the quote unquote administrative processing still.
that sucks.
And of course, the CEAC site just says ready every time I check it.
So
Um,
you're telling me at no point had you sent them the divorce decree, or she just didn't have it with her at the interview.
we sent them we had sent them the digital copy. She
Yeah,
had a copy of it, but not the certified copy. And
that's what they wanted.
they wanted to run their hands across that raised seal to make sure that it was legitimate.
That's some BS. What embassy is this?
Stockholm.
That's surprising. Usually, those Nordic countries are pretty easy to deal with.
Uh,
I'm sorry that happened. So what do you
yeah,
think? So what do you think?
that's what I thought too. And I mean, as far as treating her with respect and dignity, and the whole time she said everything was great. Uh, the um, the officer even said almost congratulations. So it's like he wanted to give it to her, but he said no. I got to check the box. Uh, so
So
uh,
how long did it take? You know, you said we sued, and a month later you got the I-130 approved. How long had
yeah,
you waited for the I-130 to get approved when we sued that time?
it had been we hit 13 months after we had submitted the petition. So we submitted in August um, of 2023. So September of 2024, filed the lawsuit, and at the end of September, the petition was approved.
Has she ever been to the United States?
She is not.
Has she ever applied for a visa to the United States?
She applied for a student visa
And it
twice,
got denied?
twice in 2022, and it got denied both times.
Did you two already know each other then?
We did.
Were you? Did your prior marriage involve anyone getting an immigration benefit, you or your spouse?
No, no, we were both U.S. citizens, and we divorced in 2010,
When she filed her,
2011.
when she applied for her student visas, did she do it herself or did she do it with like a helper?
Uh, no, I mean, I helped her with it, but
Yeah,
we
like
didn't.
you guys submitted it. It's not like somebody said on there that she's married to get her the student visa.
No, 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 no,
Good.
absolutely not.
Okay. Good. Um, and so the State Department. When did you get to the NVC? Like after we sued, so that would have been like what, October or something last year
So yeah, it was October, and I think it was even like October 1.
of 24.
of 24. So she's Belarusian. She lives in Lithuania, and at that time they had just switched from doing immigrant visas in Lithuania and moved her to Stockholm. So I don't know if that's a piece of the puzzle as well.
Well, Belarus is, and
Yeah.
whenever you're trying to get an immigrant visa in a third country, that's always a little bit of a delay too. I was going to ask a question. Anything else from her interview that came up? Nothing?
No, she said everything was great. Everything was positive. I mean, they said, yeah, everything but this one piece of paper.
Well, I hate to say. Oh, I know. I was going to ask you. What state do you live in?
Missouri.
Oh, that's too bad. I mean, it'd be nice to try to get a senator to help you.
Yeah, it's well, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, try it. Did you ask either of those fools?
That was when we hadn't gotten an answer on our petition, I started with them and they said, well, we can't help you. So I was thinking that might be my next step, is to ask them.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they won't help, or when they won't help, is another lawsuit an option in the near future?
We have to wait at least a year.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I just looked up who's the ambassador to it's Sweden, right?
Yeah.
And there isn't one. I guess the president hasn't nominated someone yet because there's a charged affair, which just means the highest ranking State Department person is acting as the ambassador.
Okay.
Because I would spend some time thinking. I know this sounds crazy. Like, who do I know in Stockholm, or in Sweden? Are there Swedish people that I know, or like if the ambassador was there, like I would try to think about who do I know that knows the ambassador, but it's a stretch now.
Yeah.
I think you're just.
Sorry?
I think you're just waiting.
Yeah. Okay.
And don't beat yourself up. I don't think it was because she didn't have the divorce decree in hand. I think they're just delaying.
Well, I mean, I would agree with that, considering the embassy themselves are kind of telling us the same thing, that they don't understand why.
And you had to sue on an I-130. It's probably Belarus more than anything.
Well, I was wondering if the lawsuit has anything to do with that, if that factors in, or it's just because it's.
I don't think so.
It doesn't red flag our
Nah.
us at all.
Nah.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Well, keep us posted, Andrew. Okay.
Okay. We'll do.
Yep. See ya.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
This is the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm going to take some more TikTok questions in a minute. You know what we've been busy dealing with is we've been getting a lot of calls, as you might imagine. So check this out. So there were like news stories the other day that 300 international students had their SEVIS records terminated. So you guys know that if you come on a student visa, you come as a student on your F1, and you're given what's called duration of status. So as long as you maintain your status, you can stay in the United States. So if you keep going to school, you can get more degrees, you can do OPT, you can add on all this stuff, right? Well, the Trump people have run this search in their database and found brown people who had some kind of interaction with law enforcement, and they're just terminating their SEVIS record. They're not following the rules. They're not following the statutes or the regulatory conditions on when you can revoke somebody's visa and how. So we're going to start filing lawsuits next week. I think we've gotten hired by about 4 or 5 international students to file a lawsuit. We might be doing one for a group of kids here from St. Louis. So if you hear of anybody who has been wrongfully terminated in their SEVIS record on F1s, let us know, because we're going to start suing the shit out of USCIS for that. And that makes me happy. But that's what we've been doing. I had to create a new contract yesterday and sort of build it all out. We're working on the template right now, but we're going to start filing these lawsuits for these poor. I mean, some of these international students. Look, I'll just say this: almost every single one that has called the office has been crying. They're very close to graduating, or they're finally making some money. And what the Trump administration and Republicans are doing to these international students is deplorable. It's absolutely deplorable. It's completely unfair. There's no due process. Just because Doge can flick a switch and turn off or turn on a benefit, it's fucking disgusting. It's disgusting. So we're going to start suing them next week. All right, let's go back to TikTok and see what we got. Would not registering affect your AOS? I think so. We nobody really knows yet, but I'm pretty sure that if you don't register, it'll be a crime, and then they will use that against you to give you your green card. Can a husband that's in prison sponsor your green card? Well, that's going to be tough because they're going to need an affidavit of support. They're going to have to show they've made enough money the last 3 years to support you. You got to prove that your marriage has been consummated. So I think there's some real logistical hurdles. And then the biggest one, of course, would be that if you're married to someone who commits crimes and has been convicted of committing crimes, then USCIS does not think it's that much of a stretch to then think that they would engage in crime to give you an immigration benefit. Does that make sense? So that because this person was a bank robber or a drug dealer, that they have this criminal history, well, is it likely that they would engage in more criminal behavior by marrying someone for money to get them an immigration benefit? Jim, how safe is it to adjust for your mother visiting with B1 under this administration? I would file that case. Get lots of gifts over on TikTok. That makes me happy. I don't really know how it all works, but I think it's funny, especially when I get my little hat with my mustache. I'm going on 21 months for my husband's I-130. Oh, geez, Mariah. I would probably sue, just like we were talking before. I think a lawsuit in that scenario would really help. Waiting overseas for my I-130, applied September 12th, 2024. How long till I get approved? Oh, it's probably 14 months, I would say, is what we're seeing these days. Is it safer winning asylum through the court than USCIS since I'm waiting my green card to be issued? That's a strange question. If you're saying, is it easier? Oh, big ups to all the yardies on TikTok. How about that? It does mess up your green card. Getting a green card after you've received asylum from the immigration judge does take longer than getting your green card based on asylum that you received from the asylum office. Let's go to Nervous. Hello.
Hi, Jim. Good day.
Good day.
So I have a couple of questions. So let me start off with I have an interview the 21st of April for my marriage-based green card.
Great.
And just going over, I saw your videos and I said, okay, I'm just gonna go over the file that the person submitted for me. I saw that he placed on there that I worked without I haven't worked without authorization.
That you
And
did or you didn't?
I did.
Is that true or is that wrong?
It's wrong. He put there that I did. I've never worked without authorization, and I have worked without authorization.
Okay,
And
no problem. That's fine. You're married to a U.S. citizen?
Yes, he is a U.S. citizen.
Okay, so you have your interview coming up?
Yes.
Okay, so have you seen my video about errata sheets?
Right. No, I haven't.
Okay, I'm going to put the word in the comments, errata sheet. So it sounds like erotic, but it's not. Errata, it means like to fix a mistake, like error,
Okay.
So what you're going to do is, and go watch that video, look for that on my channel. But basically what you're going to do is you're very wisely going through your application. And let's say you find 7 questions that were answered incorrectly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say part 4, question 7 is the one about working without authorization. So I would write part 4, question 7. Have you ever worked in the United States without authorization? Yes or no? And I would say I would write no. I would write yes, and then I would explain. I worked at Popeyes, fried chicken. I worked at Walmart. I worked at, and list every place you worked. List all of it. Disclose all of it. And then the next question is, have you ever violated the terms of your non-immigrant status? Yes, I did. I did it by
Mhm.
working. I did it by working see above. And you type all that stuff up so that it's all nailed down. So there's no mistakes that you know of that are on your application, right?
Okay.
And then when the interview starts, you're going to walk on into the office and they're going to say, "Hello, nervous. How are you doing?" And you're going to say, "Well, I'm nervous." And they're going to say, "That's okay. Don't be nervous." Or they're going to say, "That makes me glad that you're nervous because that might mean you make a mistake." And then they're going to take your ID and then you're going to, before you sit down, you're going to hand them this and they're going to say, "What is this?" And you're going to say, "This is my errata sheet. There are mistakes on my 485 and I found them because I was getting ready for my interview." And you're going to, and I just want you to have all those in one place so that you see all of my corrections because I'm trying to make it easier for you. And then
Okay.
you're going to be quiet.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then what they'll probably do is they'll say thank you for that. They'll put it to the side and then they'll go through the questions and then they'll look at the answers you gave. Like they might want you to explain it out loud in addition to having written it, but we want you to write it down so that they can't ever say later, "Oh, well, during your interview, well, on your application, you said that you never worked without authorization. And then when you showed up at your interview, you never told me that you'd worked at Chuck E. Cheese and Popeyes and all that stuff." And then you're going to say, "No, motherfucker, I gave you my errata sheet right when the interview started, and it clearly laid out the fact that I was working and that I made these other mistakes on my forms."
Okay. Thank you so much for that because I was losing my brain.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Well, I mean, that's sort of the reason. So in the old, this is how I think about it in my head. In the old days, and sometimes now, even on asylum cases, they'll have a little red pen and they'll be making these little edits. And what they're supposed to do is at the end, they're going to say, "Okay, nervous, here's your 485. I made 8 corrections to your 485. I want you to go through and initial each correction." And then, so that we're all on the same page. So technically, part of the interview is to correct any mistakes on the application. But it's all better, like I said, to nail that down before the interview starts.
that sounds smart. Um, and also, so I have a friend, right? I know this is going to sound messed up. She's married to a U.S. citizen,
Yeah.
and it's a biracial couple.
Okay.
He's like more than 10 years older than her,
Okay.
and they got married, but he did not tell her that he had a criminal record,
Yeah.
and they requested evidence from him. They sent
Wait.
an RFE, and they sent him to do a
Time out. So he, the U.S. citizen, has a criminal record, and while the case is pending, he got a request. They got a request for evidence not about her, but about him.
yes.
All right. So then what?
Then
So
it was for a biometrics.
yeah. So he had to get fingerprinted. So what was he? What was his conviction?
Okay, so there's like 22 convictions.
Whoa! Did you say not 2022? You're talking 22 separate convictions,
Yes, it's 22 separate convictions.
and some of them are sex offenses or
Yeah.
offenses against children.
Um, one was for Adam Walsh, something about Adam Walsh. That
Yeah,
that yes, and but he said he was not convicted. It was just like he didn't do time for that or anything. It's just that it like someone told a lie on him, and that's how he got that charge.
yeah, but the charge itself wouldn't make him. So someone who has an Adam Walsh conviction is ineligible to sponsor a foreign national like your friend for a green card. Like they just can't do it. There's allegedly these exceptions, but they're almost impossible to get. So okay. So does this friend of yours have a lawyer?
She's gonna get one now. I keep telling her to get one, yes, but she's gonna get one now.
Yeah, because the big thing is if he pleaded guilty because somebody put a lie on him, but he pleaded guilty to an Adam Walsh Act, then that's a done deal. He can't unring that bell. He can't sponsor her, your friend. He's just not eligible.
Oh,
It's like a black letter rule. Like when I was a new attorney, I thought that I could I thought that I could overcome it. It's not overcomable. I mean, technically it is if you show like psychiatrically that this person is reformed and all this stuff, but he's got 22 convictions. There's no way in hell they're going to believe that.
But they after he went and did the biometrics, they send him annoyed.
Yeah.
And then if that does if he got that if he received the annoyed, does that mean like there's a chance that they can prove it, or that's just procedure, or would they just go straight into denial if they wanted to deny the case?
Well, I mean, obviously I haven't seen the NOID, but probably it says something like you, Mr. U.S. citizen, filed an I-130 petition for your spouse, which is your friend, Nervous's friend, on February 2nd, 2024. Our records indicate that on September 16th, 2017, you pleaded guilty in the county of Cook, Illinois, for molesting a girl. Therefore, that's an Adam Walsh Act violation. Therefore, this letter is official notice of our intent to deny this case. We would give you the chance to either refute the fact that you pleaded guilty to molesting a girl, or that you've demonstrated rehabilitation through psychiatric treatment and all this other stuff. Like and then they'll say you have 30 days or 97 days to.
It said 87.
87 days, yeah, 87 days to reply, but if you're asking me, Jim, so there's this great phrase, and I don't know Italian or Latin. I think it's a Latin, but there's this great phrase called a fait accompli. It means that shit's done. If you're asking me, is it done? Like they said it's annoyed, but it's really going to be a denial. What I'm telling you is that case is going to be denied.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
And of course, the fact that he didn't tell her, that's a whole other question, right? Like, I mean, if I don't know what the 22 crimes were, but if I was laying in bed next to someone and then that night I figured out, oh, they got 22 crimes on them, I'd be a little more worried.
That's true. But these are all the crimes were done like in the 70s and all that. This way back.
I believe you.
So does the time frame has anything, or just so Adam Walsh is just done?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right then, Jim.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck with your interview.
Thank you. I'll call you back and tell you how it went.
Please do. All right. That was our friend Nervous. That was a good call. Lots of good questions. That Adam Walsh Act, I mean, there's some things that are just black letter law you can't fix, you can't overcome. One of them is screwing up your OPT, and another one is for sure the Adam Walsh Act. Another one, I was surprised to find out. I was very, very mad when I found this out. Did you know that if a green card holder is convicted of a aggravated felony, that they can't ever become a U.S. citizen? I didn't know that. If you are a green card holder and you get convicted of an aggravated felony, then you are prohibited from ever getting your citizenship. I didn't know that. Yeah, claiming to be a citizen, Raphael, you're right about that. That's another bell that's very hard to unring. I didn't move my bell over. I haven't been using my bell. All right. Antonio's locked up, so we're going to go to Better Call Jim. Hello. You're on mute, Better Call Jim.
Can you hear me, Jim?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for picking up my call. I have a question regarding my removal of conditions.
Okay.
So, in terms of evidences, I would say I have a lot of financial evidences like joint taxes, joint lease, joint bank account, joint beneficiary, but no biological evidence like kids and everything. Would that be sufficient evidence?
Well, okay, so let's back up. So when you got married, were you in the United States and you adjusted status, or did you come on a visa and get an immigrant visa?
I came here on F1 visa. I was on a valid visa.
So you were in status at the time you got married and the time you filed for adjustment?
Yes.
And have you and your spouse lived apart at all since getting married?
in the starting of the marriage, I was in a different school. After got married for about, I would say, 6 to 8 months, and then I got a job. I'm here in the same city, and within that time period, I also received my green card. And ever since that, we have been staying together.
Did you have a green card interview or no?
No interview.
And have you guys made any major purchases together since getting married?
We bought a car, if that's
Yep.
but that's a used car, but it was still about 20K
Is it
worth of
both your
purchase.
names are on it?
Oh, it's my name because we were trying to put her name on that, but for some weird reason, they were not putting both of us as a loan party. But now we have a title with us, but her name is on the insurance as well. But we have been paying it together from our joint account.
Okay, so as far as finances, you both put money into an account and you both pay bills out of that account.
Yes, we both pay bills out of the account. We paid our taxes jointly. Blah blah blah. All those things were
So
mostly together.
it's an active account that you use like every other day.
Yeah. But I would say it's used basically every week.
Every week? Well,
Yeah, for like groceries and stuff. So
okay.
basically, every kind of purchase is done over here.
What'd you say?
Every kind of joint purchases from our day-to-day chores to anything important, we do it with our joint account.
So then you both have separate accounts too?
We both have separate accounts as well, but we also have a joint account.
But what do you use the separate accounts for?
It was historical, I would say, before we met. So she uses to get her direct deposit from her job. I use it for my direct deposit for my job, and then we put in money in a joint account for our house rent and other kind of expenditures.
So what, she transfers money from her account into the joint account?
Yes, and the same way I do that. Most of the time it's 50-50.
So nobody's directing their paychecks into the joint account.
No. We're not. We're directing our paychecks to our account, and we have then automatic scheduled transfer of money to joint account.
Got it. Okay. And then what about like addresses, driver's licenses? Everything's at the same address.
I believe everything is at our same address, like our driver licenses, our insurances. Although her school's documents, when where she was doing her PhD, her some documents goes to her mother's address, which is about 40 minutes away from our address, but which we never really bothered changing it.
What's your living situation? Do you own a house? Do you rent or what?
We rent a house. We have ton of student loans, so no no plans for buying a house right now.
And do you have a lease?
Yes, we have a joint lease.
Okay, good. Okay. And then tell me about trips and pictures and all that stuff.
In terms of trips, we went after our marriage. We went to India to have a traditional wedding in India. So we went there. We went to South Asia to 1 or 2 countries, and now we were planning to visit a different country, but we are both not sure.
Yeah.
And other than that,
Those trips that you already took, were those trips that you included in the original submission or trips that happened after you got your conditional green card?
I both of them happened after green card. There were some trips which were like local trips, which we recorded, which were included in our original evidence. But yeah, I mean, in terms of evidence, I would say that also we have.
Okay. I'm feeling good.
Oh, yeah, perfect. So this should mostly be. I shouldn't be super worried about right now with all the things going on. I'm a little bit concerned.
There's nothing that you've said so far that has me worried.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then I also have one more question, but that's regarding my mother.
Okay.
So my mother, she lives in India. She has tourist visa. She visited in States twice till now, and she wants to visit me about in June or July. Is there anything I need to provide her in terms of documentation, or is it okay for her to visit me?
I would say she should bring proof that she always goes back on time. Like I would have
Mhm,
a chronology of all of her trips to the United States to show that she always
mhm,
goes back.
mhm,
I would make sure she has a round trip ticket and
mhm.
a firm plan to go back. Other than that, I don't think so.
So, in terms of chronology of evidence, generally on the passport they put in a stamp, like stamp
Yeah,
in and stamp out.
but I,
Would
but
that consider as
no, I want her to have an independent piece of paper that you typed up that shows all of her trips that she can hand to them when she goes through customs, if they ask.
and I can? It's like my own self affidavit, right?
It doesn't even have to be an affidavit. It just has to be a list of the dates and times. So she can look at it and say, yeah, I came for 7 weeks in 2022. I came for 4 weeks in 2023, and I didn't come in 20, and then be able to hand it to them.
Okay. Only thing because she's a senior citizen, I was a bit worried about her traveling, but I still want her to travel here, so I
Yeah.
was like kind of a little bit worried.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks, thanks, Jim. I
All right.
really appreciate that.
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure. Let's go to Shane. Hello, Shane.
Hi Jim, how's it going?
How are you doing?
Good, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, what it is, I've got a green card through marriage last year. I got my permanent resident stamp in the passport. So I went to the States last year in July. I was only there for 4 weeks to look at property and try and set some things up. I went back to Australia. We planned to move early this year, but our relationship's falling apart, and we're actually looking at getting divorced now. We won't be going there till July the 14th. Is this going to be an issue because I will have been outside the US for longer than 11 months, and I don't really have much proof of ties to the USA apart from having a USA daughter and a wife or ex-wife USA
Sure.
citizen.
I'm sorry to hear about the marriage problems.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's very stressful, but it's okay. Thank you.
So, when did you become a lawful permanent resident?
On my green card, it says 10th of July, 24.
10th of July, 24. So were you in the United States when you got your green card?
No, it actually got posted to my mother-in-law's house in Michigan when I was outside the US about 4 weeks after I left. So about two months after I entered, the green card came through the post.
But you were already back in Australia.
Yeah.
So it would be fair to say that since you got your green card, you haven't lived here at all?
No, I haven't, no.
And your plan to come back is when?
July 14th, the flight's booked. I didn't really think about it until all this stuff with the Trump administration started coming out, started hearing about people
Well, you
being
should.
denied entry.
This would have been a bad plan under Biden, but now it's especially a bad plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous about it.
So
Um,
let me ask you
carry
this.
on, sorry.
Let me ask you this question. So the card is called a permanent residence card, and it's because they plan on people permanently residing in the United States, right?
Yep.
So if you were allowed back in the United States in July or June, whenever you come, I mean, first of all, you definitely have to come before a year is up on the green card, right?
Yep.
And I would even say, when did you leave before the green card was approved?
When did I leave the USA?
I guess what I'm trying to figure out is,
Yeah.
when was the last time you were in the United States? What's the last day you were in the United States?
I think it's the 3rd of August, 2024.
Got it. Okay. All right. Okay. So put all that to the side. Let's say that through some miracle, you're allowed back into the United States when you come back in June or July, right?
Yeah.
Are you then going to live here for the rest of your life, or are you just wanting to have this green card because you had it and you might want to come every now and then?
No, I'm moving there. I'm staying. I want to become a citizen. Like it's been my life dream to move to America. I definitely want to live there permanently.
Okay, so here's a good question. Whenever I find a situation where somebody has a condition, and you have a conditional green card, right?
No, it's a CR1 full green card.
10 green card. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If I were you, I would spend some time thinking and documenting my intention to live in the United States for the next 10 years.
Yep.
So just throw out a city. Like, what city would you like to live in if you were here?
I'd like to live in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. Beautiful place.
Yep.
Okay. So I would spend time figuring out I'm going to live here, I'm going to work here, I'm going to bank here, I'm going to go to the gym here. I would like build a little life for myself from Australia in Austin, Texas.
Yep.
Wait, that's right. So wait, do you have your green card there with you? Thank you, Sumatan. Thank you.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Okay. So it says the start date on your green card, you said it was August something, 2020.
That's when I left, but the date is July 10th. On the green card is valid from July 10th.
Okay. And on July 10th, 2024, had you been married for 2 years?
Yep.
You'd already been married 2 years.
Yep.
But your green card says CR1?
Yep.
Okay, so that's a mistake. You should have an IR1 because you've been married. What's the date of your marriage?
May the 4th, 2021.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's a mistake.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
Oh shit. How do I get that fixed? Just go to the consulate.
My brother, no, you can't do it at the consulate. It's very, very hard to fix that shit from Australia. I'll tell you that.
Oh god, this is a nightmare.
So here's what I would say.
Yeah.
I would build that dream life of me in Austin, Texas, of what I want to have and what I'm planning to do and how I really like. In other words, you're going to have to do some really fast talking to convince them. Oh shit! I learned my lesson. I talked to an immigration attorney, and before then, I had no idea that I was sort of being a little too casual with my green card. Please, 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 please let me in. And if you let me in, this is what I'm going to be doing with my life, right?
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's a good. So on your green card, does it say that it's good for 2 years, or does it say it's good for 10 years?
10 years.
But it says CR1.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it says CR1. I haven't got it in front of me. It's in my room, which is like a 5-minute walk away. But I'm pretty sure it's definitely valid for 10 years.
Yeah, why don't you take a picture of it and send it to me, and then go from there? But I think basically you're going to have to make a run for it. I wouldn't travel with anybody else. I would understand that there's a 55 to 60% chance that they put me on a plane back to Australia and try to take my green card. Oh, yeah, I know. Okay. I know what I wanted to ask you.
Yep.
When people have a green card and things sort of fall apart, my question is, and even though you don't have it doesn't sound like you have a conditional green card, so you don't have to remove the conditions. Does your spouse want you to stay in the United States, or does your spouse want you to stay in Australia? Like, would they help us, or would they hurt us, or would they just stay out of it?
We're on talking terms. She'd probably help me. I asked her to write me a letter explaining about the divorce, and also the main problem we haven't come over is because she's got 3 children from a previous marriage, and she shares custody with the father, and he's waiting for his EB3 green card to be processed before he can come to the States.
He's also from Australia.
He's actually from Sweden. It's a long story, but okay. Yeah, he's from Sweden. So there is a genuine reason why I haven't come over. It's not like I've just been sitting around thinking, oh, I'll go whenever I feel like it. I wanted to go last year. I wanted to stay there when I went to visit.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't come over. So it's obviously very frustrating. But it's a genuine reason. I didn't know whether to get like a affidavit letter of her explaining the situation. Do you think that would help?
I think you got to throw. I'd be walking in there like with a legal brief as to all the reasons why Like I'd
Yeah,
have exhibits and like make their plan and just say over and over, I didn't know, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I'm sorry, and then just see what
yeah.
happens. Then you have to understand they
It's,
might say no, and they might make you buy a one-way ticket back, and but I think that's your best shot. But I sure as hell wouldn't wait till July. I'd come tomorrow.
yeah, it's just complicated to do that now, especially because we're going through a divorce.
Right.
I'm kind of stuck here
Are you getting divorced in Australia or in America?
in Australia.
Did you get married in Australia or in America?
Australia.
Yeah. All
What
right.
about the only other thing I've got is I'm trying to get a bank account, and I was trying to buy a house. I know that would probably help, but also like we've got a storage facility that we rented in Houston with our stuff in. That's we've had for almost 2 years or a year and
Okay.
a half now.
Okay.
Stuff like that, just put it all together basically is what you're saying, and just create a good case.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll
Good
do
luck.
that. Thank you.
See you,
Thanks
buddy.
very much.
You got it. All right, everybody. That'll do it for today's show. Yes, Nurse Laura. Sorry about that. We had a big Salesforce problem. The computers were down for an hour and a half. I wasn't going to do a show, and then we decided to do a show and send out a text. Thank you to everybody on TikTok. Thank you, everybody on YouTube. I'll probably do a show tomorrow afternoon and then take Sunday off. Nora and I are going to a birthday party, breakfast, and then we're going to the Cardinal game. And then she gets to take pictures of your Parkway West Longhorns on the Busch Stadium field. So that'll be fun. We'll be back tomorrow anyway. Have a great night, everybody. Yeah, AJ's right. That's his third issue. Yeah. I'll see you all tomorrow, and I hope you all have a great weekend. We're going, if you're in St. Louis, we'll be at the Eid Festival in Manchester, Missouri. We have a booth to celebrate the end of Ramadan with everybody, so that'll be fun. And I'll be there tomorrow from 10 to 12. So see you guys there. Otherwise, have a great day. Thanks. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.